Alright, so I'm officially about to get into the story time of yesterday's flight to finally get out here to Miami. Stop what you're doing, pause this video, and go find this video on my channel. Then come back to this video and press play. Like, I started talking about it while we was at the airport, while I was eating my Starbucks. I'm stressed right now, but I'm happy because I was on standby for a flight. Let's get into the story time. So today is Friday, right? Today's Friday. Originally, I thought I was supposed to be in Miami on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, in my city back in St. Louis, it was a snowstorm. Like, they was hyping up this snowstorm. We're gonna get 5 to 10 inches. The roads gonna be freezing. Like, all stuff was shut down. My school went remote. My grocery store that's up the street from my house was packed, and we went grocery shopping the day before so we could have some food. So the grocery store was packed, schools was closed, people's jobs was saying like work from home. Like, it was to the point where my boyfriend even got off of work, and they never let them get off work when he normally has to work. But this day they was like, it's a snowstorm, don't come in, nobody come in, everybody stay at home, like the road's gonna be bad. So Wednesday comes around, and I'm thinking, I got a flight to catch on Wednesday. Like, I hope I can get to the airport on time. I hope I can make sure I get on my flight. You know, all that good stuff. Because I'm thinking my flight is on Wednesday. I'm thinking I got to fly out on Wednesday. So, Wednesday comes, and I'm in flight mode, like finna catch a plane, like finna catch a flight, finna go to Miami. It's a snowstorm in St. Louis, finna hit the beach, finna go to Miami. Like, it's warm out there. Forget St. Louis, forget this snow, forget all this cold weather. Like, I'm finna be in the warm. So Tuesday night, I'm packing my bag. My bag is packed. I had that big, like, duffel, rolly kind of duffel, right? So the top shape was kind of weird, but the bottom was like, you know, pull out, roll through the airport. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use that as a carry-on. I've never carried that bag as carry-on before, but I've always thought that it was carry-on size. So I packed that bag up, and I called an Uber, and my Uber came and got me. He pulled up in the driveway. He put my bags in the car. We pulled off to the airport. Yeah. So we get to the airport, and you know how they got like the size your luggage to see if it's a carry-on or not. If it don't fit, it can't go in the overhead bins. You gotta pay for a check bag. So in my head, I'm trying to like stuff the carry-on into the thing to make sure that it fit. And the man at the counter, he like, that don't fit. You gotta come check that. So I didn't book this flight myself. I told y'all I'm here on work. I'm here for business. We literally just got out of like our whole working session that was all day long. I didn't book my flights. Somebody else did. And I'm just like, okay, let me call them to see if I could get my bag checked, if they could pay for my bag, you know, because I'm like, I don't have a carry-on. I didn't have no carry-on size. That's the only bag that I had, unless I chose to like bring a duffel, which if you walking through the airport, you don't want nothing on your shoulder because it's going to start hurting, especially if you got to catch multiple flights. So I'm bringing my rolly one, thinking it's going to fit. It didn't fit into the thing. The man was like, no, you need to check it. So I'm like, all right, let me call them. So I call like my program manager, right? And I'm like, hey, can I get a checked bag, or is there a way that y'all could pay for it or whatever? She was like, Kaya, I think your flight is tomorrow. I'm like, tomorrow? You sure? Like, no, I thought I was leaving today. Like, I don't know what in my mind told me that I have to leave on Wednesday. And y'all, my camera about to die, so I'm gonna keep finishing this story time and keep trying to make it work. I'm gonna start vlogging from my phone, just an FYI. So I'm like, okay, my flight is for tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, whatever, let me go back home. So my boyfriend come and get me, we go back home. And at this point, I'm like, okay, my carry-on didn't fit. So Ross down the street from my house. So I'm like, let me go buy a carry-on. I found one for $45, worked out perfect. I left my wallet in my car not realizing. So the next day I get to the airport. I'm like, okay, it's my flight time this time. I'm early, I'm on time. I'm ready to get on this plane. I go to look in my bag to check in. You know, you need your ID. Alright, my camera just died, so we on the iPhone with it. Hopefully y'all can hear and see me. I think y'all can. back to what I was saying about the story time though, right? So I get to the airport the next day and I'm checking in. I'm there an hour early, and normally our airport from St. Louis is like really dead. Like, don't nobody be in there, 1. 2, the security line be really short. Like, it just be really dead, especially in the morning. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm an hour early. You know, we finna catch this flight. I'm finna go chill. I got my laptop with me. I'm gonna edit, you know, stuff like that. And in the midst of like being ready, I catch the Uber and I get there. I'm finna check in to like get my boarding pass, and I realized that I didn't have my wallet. So at this point, I'm like, if I go home and come back, 1, that's an Uber that's 30 minutes. Another Uber after I just Ubered there, so another $40. 1. 2, I'm not going to be able to go home and make it back in time to catch this 11 o'clock flight. I'm going to probably make it back by 11 and miss my flight. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let me call my program manager again, tell her that I won't be able to make my flight. I left my wallet at home. It's always something at this point. Like, I'm like, did I really leave my wallet at home? That's the one thing that I need to get on a plane. Even if I left my bags at home, I need my wallet. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I called her. She was like, okay, no problem, Kaya. We're just going to see if we can put you on standby for the next flight. Like, don't worry about it. These things happen. You know, trying to make me feel good. But honestly, at this point, I was just so overwhelmed in myself because I realized that I couldn't just Uber home and go run in the house and get my wallet and run back home. Because the day before, this was my thought process. I was like, okay, I'm not going to take my car keys or my house keys to Miami. First wrong move. I'm like, I'm not gonna take my keys to Miami just in case I like lose them somewhere. You know, I really need them. I'm gonna just leave them at home. So I was like, okay, I left my keys at home and my wallet is at home. I can't get in the house. Not only can I not get in the house, even if I got dropped off, I can't get in the back door. I can't get in the front door. I can't get in no windows. I can't get in none of that stuff. So at this point, I'm overwhelmed. You know, I get to crying. Like, I'm like, this is just too much. Like, what is going on with me? Because at first, I just thought, you know, I came a day early. But then the second day I came and I leave my wallet and my keys, I'm like, yeah, something is wrong with me. What is going on with me? So I started just, you know, overthinking. You know how I go, get overwhelmed. But then I calmed down. I called the airline people. They was able to put me on standby. But now I got to figure out, how am I going to still get my wallet today to make sure that I catch a flight? So I'm like, I'm game planning in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna Uber home, and then I'm gonna get my keys, and then I'm gonna get my car, and then, so I Uber home, right? Then on my way home, my bad if y'all can hear the honks outside. They're really doing the most in this Miami rush hour traffic. But I really think that I thought I could go home and just grab my stuff. So I'm Ubering home. As I'm like probably 15 minutes away from my house for a 30-minute Uber drive, 15 minutes away from my house, I'm like, I don't have my keys. So I reroute the Uber to my boyfriend's job. He at work. At first I was hoping that he could, you know, bring the key to me because I don't got my car. I didn't want to keep spending money on Ubers. But he like, nah, we busy. I'm at work. You know, if anything, I come on lunch, but that's going to be until later. You're going to miss your next flight. So I'm like, okay. I Uber to his job. This is just too much. Like, my brain be so scattered-brained, and I hate that when it's high-intensity situations like this, because I got somewhere to be. I got a flight to catch. So I Uber to his job, and he gives me his key. He was like, make sure you bring it back. Like, you only coming to get this key unless you can bring it back to me. He got to get in the house later today. I'm going to be in Miami, right? So he gives me the key. I call another Uber. So mind you, that's like 4 Ubers at this point, and they all like $40 a piece. So that's a Uber on Wednesday that I didn't need to take, doing the most, overthinking it, ready to go, and wasn't even time for my flight. Then a Uber there on Thursday to catch my flight. Uber to his job to go get the key. Then Uber from his job back to my house to get in the house. That's 4 Ubers. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm just wasting money. Being like, just wasting money. I'm like, I'm wasting money. My head is everywhere. So I'm like, let me pause and make a list. I called my mama too. Because of course I was crying and I called my mama in the moment. Because if you don't call your mama in the moment of something that's overwhelming, what are you doing? Your mama got all the answers. So I called my mama And she was like, slow down, make a list, calm down. We prayed, of course, because I needed to just chill. I was overthinking and overdoing everything, getting worked up, getting overwhelmed, crying, like too much going on. So after I got off the phone with my mama, I finally went and got the key from him, went home, unlocked the door, found my keys, found my wallet. My wallet wasn't even in the house. Like, I was looking for my wallet for so long. My wallet was still in my car on the side of the seat. You know how, like, when you drop your phone and your phone go, like, under the seat because it slide off the side? That's where my wallet was at. So I finally found my wallet, find my keys. Then I noticed I ain't had no earrings on. So I'm like, it was meant for me to come home because I had to go put some earrings on, and I put my earrings in. So all of that worked out. But at this point, I'm like, I'm not Ubering back to the airport. I'm not Ubering back to his job. I'm going to just drive my own car so that I'm on my own terms. And I think that's what also been getting me, like, confused and, like, scatterbrained, is because I be having an Uber, and the Uber be, like, waiting outside, leaving in 5 minutes. Like, I don't like that. So I finally drove my own car back to his job. I dropped his key off, and then I dropped my car off at my mama's house, which is close to the airport. And then I got another Uber to take me to the airport. So that's 5 different Ubers, all because I left my keys and my wallet at home. And all because I thought that this flight was earlier than what it was. So moral of the story, my head was everywhere. I finally got back to the airport. They put me on standby for my first flight. I had to connect a flight from St. Louis in between to Miami. So I had to stop in Charlotte. So they put me on standby for that flight. I wasn't going to, like, make a seat at first. They was like, I don't know, the flight is full. You might not get a seat. But shout out to the black man that was working at the front. He was like, I got you, baby. You're going to be good. We're going to get you on the flight. Period. And he got me on that flight. So at this point, it's probably, like, very later in the day. I didn't even vlog during none of this because it was just getting overwhelming. Like, the only point that I vlogged was when I was getting my flight from St. Louis to Charlotte. When I found out that I was going to be on that first flight, I knew I was good. And that was because of the black man that was working at the front. So he made sure I got on that flight. I was able to chill a little bit, go eat, edit, and sit down for a second. Because he told me he was going to make sure I got on that flight, which I thank God for, because I probably would have been not in Miami right now. But anyways, I got on that first flight, made it to Charlotte. Then I got to Charlotte and was trying to get on the Miami flight. And they was like, I don't know, it's full, you might not make it. They put me on the standby list. It was at least like 5 people on that list, and I was number 5. So they start calling people names that's on standby. 3 people didn't show up. So I'm like, thank God, that's a spot for me. So I got on the Miami flight, and I made it to Miami at like 10:30 last night. Y'all seen a little bit of the vlog when I was in the car, and then made it to my hotel room last night, and that's been my day. Yeah, that's a quick story time.